Are you ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Here we go. Hey guys, I'm Glenn.
And I'm Tom.
And if you watched our last video, we did a lot of cold starts on some various different yard equipment that all use these Predator engines, 212cc engines from Harbor Freight. And at the end of the video, if you watch the whole thing, we mentioned that we're going to do something completely different. So this, as far as we know, is the first time that anyone has attempted to mash two of these Predator engines together to create an inline twin 424cc engine.
Yeah, so I had the idea of, we already have one out of the box, so that we do a little unboxing to see what you get when you open up one of these new boxes.
All right,
Let's go. Alright, so we got a manual.
Yep.
Looks like some tools, spark plug wrench tools.
I'll hold the box. All right.
Brand new. Anything else? Nothing?
No, nothing.
Brand new engine wrapped up.
Nice.
Look at that.
Nice.
Quick start guide.
Okay. Right off. Before use, fill gas here, add engine oil below. And looks like twins. Pretty identical, right? All right, one other thing I want to mention before we go any further is that we have discussed in previous videos, actually we have a very, very popular video that you can check out if you're interested. Harbor Freight actually sells two different versions of this engine. There is a Hemi and a non-Hemi version. And I have a video that covers all the differences. They're both 6.5 horsepower. They both essentially look the same. But we went ahead and made sure that when we bought these engines that we got two of the same. These actually are the non-Hemi version. And the quickest way to tell that is they have a shiny stamped metal valve cover. And the Hemi would have had a cast aluminum, kind of a sandblasted look rectangular cover. So these are the non-Hemi versions, and they are identical.
So yeah, you can imagine what it's going to be like strapped up side by side and running a vehicle or who knows what. But before we can do that, it needs to be broken in.
That's right.
You can't just fire these things up.
That's right. So what do we got to do to break them in, Tom?
You're supposed to put oil in them. Each motor takes half a quart.
Yep.
Put some gas in it. And we're going to start them and let them idle for 1 hour. Then we're going to bump up the throttle to half and run them for another hour, and then for a final hour at full throttle to ensure a proper break-in period.
So 3 hours to get these moving parts all used to each other and broken in before we really want to do anything to these engines or put any kind of a load on them. And if you do that, if you actually go through the process of spending that 3 hours to break these in, these engines will last a very long time. All right? Yeah, let's go. All right, so we got some clamps, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the engines and just clamp them to the table rather than bolt them down to anything, so that we can run them and the vibration doesn't cause them to slide off the table or what have you. All right, Tom, here's 2 clamps for you, 2 clamps for me. All right, there's that. All right, I'm going to take the oil fill off here. All right, we've got a brand new quart of 1030 here. Got a little funnel, and as I said, they both take half a quart. So I'm going to go ahead and put half a quart in mine, and then Tom will put the rest into his. All right, here's half a quart, and the tank also is about a 1 gallon gas tank. And at normal use, I think they say at 50% throttle, you get about 3 hours out of 1 tank of gas. So I'm going to go ahead and fill it up full. And that'll be plenty of gas for us to run it for our 3 hour break-in period. All right, I'm full. Tom?
Look at that.
All right, excellent. All right, so we're ready to run, ready to break these in, and it's a very simple process to start these engines. All you need to do is take the power switch, which is in the off position, turn it to on, you want to take your choke and set it to the start position, and then make sure that your throttle, then set it a little bit more than idle. Okay? Turn the fuel on, which is one last lever. We're good to go. All right. So both of these engines are brand new out of the box and have never been started before. So another nice thing to see is how easily they start. So I don't know, first, second pull, right? That's pretty typical of what we're seeing.
So brand new motor, so I wouldn't see why not.
Give it a shot, Tom. All right, you got the choke off. Alright, so we have a couple of parts. If you notice in the background, you can probably hear the engines. We moved away from them so that we can let those break in while we show you what we're actually going to do and the parts we're going to use to do it. So we got two boxes here, but these are standard industrial Lovejoys, and this one here happens to have a 1/2 inch shaft size with a keyway. Tom, what do you got?
I got another one here. It's got the rubber grommet.
Yep.
And what size is this?
That's a 3/4. Yep. Yep. So basically, the way these work is you take this rubber grommet, spider, whatever you want to call it, and you put it inside of one, and you take the other coupler, and you can put it together so that you can join pretty much anything that has two shafts. You can find these on log splitters and a lot of other equipment. So the 3/4 inch side, that's going to fit right on the 3/4 inch shaft of our Predator engine. And the reason the other side is different is we'll take the 1/2 inch bore coupler, and we've got a 14 millimeter by 1.5 pitch tap here. We're going to throw it into a tap wrench. So we're going to take this, we're going to put it into a vise, lock it down, and then we'll use a tap guide. Just guides the tap so that it goes in nice and straight for the hole. And once that's threaded, we can take the flywheel hex nut off of that engine and thread this on in place of it. And when we do that, we'll now have a place to couple the other shaft and the other engine to it. So, Tom, why don't we set this up and get it tapped?
All right, sounds good. Alright, so these motors have been running for an hour at idle. Now it's time to run them an hour at half throttle.
Alright, Tom, it's been just over 2 hours, so it's ready to crank it up to full bore. Alright, it's been 3 hours. Time to shut them down. This is a custom plate that we made. You can buy these online to replace the pull start on the engine that doesn't need the pull start, because we're only going to need one pull start on the engine assembly. Okay. Alright, got an 8 millimeter socket and 3. Pull start comes off and off. So what we're going to go ahead and do is continue taking the rest of this housing off temporarily with these 8 millimeter screws. And 4. Okay. Set that aside. There's still a power switch connected to it, so I won't tear it off too far. Alright, so this shaft is threaded 14 millimeter by 1.5 pitch, which is what we've gone ahead and threaded this to. But I'm just going to double check this thread. So if we did this right, this should spin right on, and it does. So, as we discussed earlier, this needs to be torqued into place. So what we're going to do is take the rest of the assembly. We're going to connect it here. Going to slide this key into the shaft. Put this on. Slide that over. Alright, so now we can take our replacement pull start. Put this motor here, okay, right about there, more. Alright, we have got two motors coupled together. So, you can probably see that we've now got the two motors coupled together in the center there with the coupling. So here's our shaft where we can mount a clutch or a CVT or whatever we like on the vehicle that we're going to run. And here's our pull start on the opposing side where we can start the engine. And we're going to give it its first run.
Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait. This is going to be awesome.
Now keep in mind, this is the first run ever. So we don't have the throttles hooked in sync or anything, so we can't rev the engine up to red line or whatever. We're just going to let them idle and see that we can prove out this theory. And if it works well, then the idea would be we remove both mufflers, both carburetors, both gas tanks. We run a 2-into-1 intake with probably a Mikuni style 30 millimeter, 34 millimeter car. We don't know. We'll figure that out. And a 2-into-1 exhaust. And to keep it nice and quiet, we'll probably go with like a golf cart muffler, which is nice and quiet. And we'll get one gas tank, one on top. And basically at that point we have a true inline twin motor. All right,
let's get this thing fired up.
Here we go.
So I'll be quick on the choke here.
Yeah, I'll do one choke, you can do the other. We'll fire it up and then we'll get the chokes flipped over. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Here we go.
I wonder what's going to be like the full compressor.
I know, right? Oh, whatever. That is awesome. Dude. Inline twin, baby. Woo! You got a piece of paper you can show everybody the yeah, baby. Woo! Right? Yeah. You think, Tom?
That's amazing.
I love it. Pull the throttle and rub them up. Alright, on three. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
That is awesome. That's the coolest thing ever.
Phase one. This is going to be sick. Alright, concept proven. So the next step is just to drill out the mounting holes on the plate for the motors to be permanently situated now that we know everything works the way we had hoped and planned. Guys, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. This is awesome. It's just one small step in big things to come. Right. As I said, we're going to do 2-into-1 intake, 2-into-1 exhaust. We'll do a single gas tank, and we're going to get this thing mounted on a special project.
Right? I'm excited. I can't wait.
All right,
I
man.
wanna
Until
do
next
more.
time.
I want to do more right now.
Awesome.